video. And of course, if you've been following this series and we've been mostly working on this website called Niger Mart, and we're looking on how to refine it to something that actually works. And in our previous video, and we've seen like what the updates we've made. So we're just continuing from there. So we added the phone number, and now let's check if it's working. So I'll just click refresh here and see what we have. And so the next thing I'm trying to do now is to make sure that this, once I select this, it should open the full product page. But that's not working. So what I need to do now is I need to move this aside first, somewhere up here. Okay, let's get that. Select. Move. So now, like working with Lovable just is it's easier, right? So you can just tell it that, okay, you know what, like the way you're explaining like to a developer, like, so that's what you're supposed to do. So you're letting him know that, okay, you know what, the when I select the item, the product card, the product card, it should open up the full product detail. Well, let me say when I click, it's way better. When I click the product card, it should open the full product detail. So let me go to the yeah. So yeah, let's see what's working. The homepage is good. Niger Mart, but the using the code that we gave it, the cart is here. Search for products. Let me search. Let me see if the search is working. Let's search for tech. Samsung iPhone 14 Pro. Let's search iPhone 14. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's beautiful. So that works. Our sport category, I think we checked that the right time. Keys. Okay, we have zero product in keys, but okay, yeah, cool. Product to product. Cool. This works. Um, flash sales. Okay, this works. This works. This looks okay. This looks okay to us well. So let's say, for example, let me click article. Let's see what it looks like. Um, but there's not a product details page. So what I mean is that, see, when I selected the product, I'm trying to click this product like to see a full product details page, but we do not have a product details page, so we've already done that. So there's something they call like training prompts. I'm trying to see if I can change 2 or 3 prompts together to see if we can arrive. So at least you can have like multiple prompts. So I don't just give it just one prompt. At least you can work on those prompts simultaneously. So let me click proceed to check out first. Let's see if there's anything we need to update in that section. Okay, the full name, the email address, the street, the state. Okay, this looks okay. So now it brings up the account number here. It brings up the account number, Access Bank, the account number, Niger Mart. Um, gives me the amount, the reference ID. Let's see, you've been directed to WhatsApp to confirm your payment. So let's click on our make payment. Okay, your WhatsApp API is not working. So let's just copy this error, right? Guessing this error. So let's let people know that, okay, you know what? Um, getting this error once I select once I once I once I try to navigate to WhatsApp. Yeah. So I'll send that one. So I was trying to fix that. But the beautiful thing is that it's the Lovable is intuitive enough to know that, okay, you know what? Once person click that, they should give like a card that says, okay, your order has been received. I give the person the order ID to follow up with, and the person can continue shopping, or the person can still message them on WhatsApp to continue the transaction. And that's very intuitive. About That's the intuitive thing about Lovable. So if you're building and one, and that's why it's good to use like a tool like Lovable, because of the advantages that comes with it. It is that it is very friendly to like non-technical people, very friendly to like early early learners, people that are just learning about like vibe coding or coming straight into like technology or development. That's why it's very good. That's the intuitive thing about the people that Replit and like is that they are very intuitive in like their approach to um, how they um, help with design. But if you're primarily coding with like you know, normal Visual Studio Code. Of course, you have to make sure like you factor in all these things at every stage. But Lovable is smart enough to know, okay, you know what, if you need this part, and this part should follow up with it. And also that's why you when you have like your original prompts, you write them down in like a notepad. Then you now take the notepad to like Claude, Gemini, or ChatGPT to help you refine the prompt. Because they to themselves, they help you in such a way that they that certain standard of like how things should be built. So when you give them like your raw prompts, they help you refine it, and they also factor in other things to it too. So that's the beautiful thing about this. So if you look at our left corner, I see it's still trying to um, understand the flow. Then he's trying to see what's going to like come up when he selects that product and stuff like that. So but this looks good. We forgot to add like the like. So the like button is not working. Yeah, and of course for those of you that are paid for the normal pro version of the Weibo, then you can also watch the entire videos in one stretch. For those of you that can't afford that yet, so you take the video day by day and just go with it. Yeah. So while we are waiting for that, now this website contains it's diagnosing the WhatsApp link while it's plugging into. It's solving. You can always see like the process of why it's solving the problem. And so what I was trying to say earlier is that now this is the front end. This is what the user is seeing, right? But as I express, I'm explaining, you can also watch this so you can understand how we're solving the problem. So this front end you are seeing is how what the customer would see. It's the part that the customer interacts with. But there's also a backend for you to manage order, track your order, track your delivery, track stuff like that. So those things are very, very important. Like in the way you approach design and building and stuff like that. So you have to make sure that whatsoever like thing that you're building or you're working on, um, you think of the back end. That is what like the admin person that manages the website or manages the store would also focus on. So I think also done with the basics of this of this front end. We'll go next in our next video to the fundamentals of the back end. Okay, yeah. So I think it's done. And if you look at your left corner, you see like about the errors for the API WhatsApp integration blocked. It only happens inside of the preview. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so this is just once we publish it, it should work. So it should work. It should work. Okay, nice. So this one is the product card click. The whole card is already like a link. So if okay, let's do this. So okay, I think it still didn't get it. So we have to integrate it. So like, I want okay, ensure the okay. I want the flow to follow this part. So once I select an item, it should open a full product detail page that contains um, the full product description. Let's go to Jumia so we can understand that. So we're using Jumia to benchmark. Let's just do that quickly. Since we're using Jumia to benchmark, so if I select like a product now, if I select this product, let me get this. So it shows the product price, store, brand, and food and other details. Product secret it. We have product details, which is this entire section. Product key feature specification. So we can just come here so we can key features specifications. and uh, images. Yeah, so it shows like all those things with it, and which is very 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 important. And it can also show like uh, things like verified rating and comments, verified rating and comments. Cool. So let's set that now, so it should work. So, uh, and that's the thing. So when you're prompting, and if you watch like our video on prompt engineering, when you're prompting an LLM, you need to ensure that you are how do what's the word I use right now? You need to ensure that whatever prompt that you're using, right, you give it enough context. Like, okay, it is not working because of this, but I want you to do A, B, C, and D. And after you're done with that, if you can also give a reference, and okay, you know what, just the way this website does, just the way this website does, so it helps it. The AI is just like a baby, like a very powerful baby. Yeah, as powerful as the baby is, he still doesn't know his left from his right. So you need to be able to like describe it to perform the exact function or solution you're looking to get. And so that's the beautiful thing about like about this. Yeah. So Sila is currently working on the full product. Says map out the product details to flow in the progress. So when I explain that, you know what, there's a flow. Like a flow is how people navigate from one part of the application to another to another to another. I say like, you know what, it seems like there's no flow for it to go from after I select, like there's no flow for once I click on it. There's no flow. There's nothing like that. So it's not, it can't solve the problem. It has to be like there's an extra flow when I click on this, it should open up a full product page. So it's now being a full product details page now. That means it didn't even have that flow in its entire top process. So now by the one that's saying like, you know what, now add that flow. So those are the things you need to um, familiarize yourself with, like key concepts. So for example, like, even though you're not like a you are not like in full stack traditional developer, right? But you need to make sure at least you understand like words and terminologies that normal full stack developers use, so that you can easily describe those things um, um, when you're communicating with an LLM. Also, you have to be very conscious of the credits for the day. So this is only 1.10 credits remaining for the day. So let's check this out. Let me refresh. Let me refresh this and see. So I'm going to refresh this, and I trust it has built the page that it needs to build. I'm going to refresh this, and let's see. Okay, still not working. See, periodically page down has start for description key features. Okay, let me just go back to the one page first. Flash sale top items. Still not working. Still not working. Still not working. Not working. Perform an end-to-end test to ensure it works, and test it before giving. Okay, so you should perform an end-to-end test um, to let me. So perform an end-to-end test to ensure that it works, and test it before giving any feedback. Also, I would like to know why it's not working previously. Secondly, the love button, the like or the love slash like button should work. Should work. Yeah, should work. And there should be a counter for that, so it serves as a rating system, just like Jumia and and Amazon does. So you select enter. So let's see what comes out. And that happens a lot. So like when you give AI an instruction, right? And it tells you that it's done it, but it's not working. And it can mostly be because of two reasons, that there might be more. It is first, it actually did the task, but it didn't fully implement it in such a way that it is functional. And the second thing is it didn't do it at all. So that's why I should have done this earlier. That's why once you give an AI like a very technical task like this, it is important for you to tell it that once it's done, you should do an end-to-end test, make sure that it works, then test it by itself before it even gives you feedback. So that's the thing. So it's doing end-to-end test and checking. So I'll trace the navigation through patch particles, but then run a preview end-to-end test to check what's feedback. See now, it's now taking the time to properly do like an end-to-end test. I should have done that earlier because I was explaining that I didn't expect it not to catch that. But that's the traditional thing I do. Like when I give like a complex task like this, or even that you're working with like any large language models, you should ensure that you allow it perform like an end-to-end task so that it can understand, okay, once I like deliver like a particular like feature, I make sure like I test it to ensure that it's working, and I test it before like I run it again. So if you don't do like end-to-end tasks, even though like the LLM understands that, oh, this product is supposed to be working and it has performed that task, but it will not actually like work because it did not do an end-to-end task. Although the functionality must have been done, but the thing is that like he might have forgotten to implement something. So because he didn't test it, he didn't know that, oh, I'm supposed to test it to make sure it works. So an example of that is, let's say for example I tell the LLM to change this color to red. So technically speaking, it must have changed this color to red, but it did not push, or let's say it's red now, and I tell it to change the color to black. It must have changed the color to black, but it might have forgotten to push the update. So on the current code base, it might be black already, but because of that, they're staging this production. On staging, right, it is already black, but on production, it is still red. So when I try to perform an end-to-end task, you can say that, okay, oh, I have updated the current staging as the code base to change the color from standard amount from red to black. But when I'm testing on production, it's still showing red. So, oh, that means I have not pushed the code from staging to production. So let me do that right now. So you see that that's the beautiful thing about end-to-end test. Is look at it now, as it's doing the end-to-end test, look at what it's now. It's like it has given itself like three tasks to do: fix the product details navigation, add like a counter rating flow, run an E2N verification. So he's investigating the flow now. Look at it now; it's taking longer time than the other ones because he has to do like an end-to-end task to make sure that, okay, the product, this feature that I just implemented, is it working or not? And if it's not working, I will test it. If it's not working, I have to go back. If it's not working, I have to like continue that continuous loop before it before I can now go and answer this person and say, you know what? And if you cannot fix it, to let you know that, okay, I couldn't fix it. And so you've also just an alternative. But most of the time, with my experience so far, it has fixed it almost all the times. So I've not had a situation whereby I told it to perform an end-to-end task or the task that it said it has done. And it would find spots, it would find like blind spots. And finally, it might even discover the approach that it's tried itself is not good, and then to suggest another approach. So most of the time, if you cannot fix it, you just tell them like, you know what, I can't fix it using this approach. Okay, would you like this alternative? Would you like the alternative? And I think the final thing is understanding the model you are using. So there was one time I was having like a problem with which model was that? I was using Codex, right? But of course it was this lower model of Codex. I think they had like a more higher, like I think it's like three or four like decimal points like behind the current model, and it was not solving that problem. And I just gave it to like Opus 4.8, and it solved that problem I just want cleanly and the way I wanted it. So like that's the thing. You have to make sure that like once you give it like a complex start to perform, you do an end-to-end test. So we are still waiting for the end-to-end test to finish. Yeah, so that's what we'll just wait for. And while we're waiting for that, I'll just like walk through the app and explain like different things. But yeah, so you can fast forward it to this place, and yeah, we'll pause and we'll come back and wait for it. Okay, running a quick end-to-end test sanity check. So it's running the test within itself. So yeah, you can fast forward this part, then yeah, to the part where it gets to the end of the test. So let's use our opportunity to go to the website. Okay, all our product has gone. Oh my god. Okay, okay, running a quick end-to-end sanity check. Okay, cool. I need to plug in my laptop soon.